Okay, let's take the discussion forward. We have with us Moshe Katri, Managing Director, Equity Research, IT Services and Payments at Wedbush Securities, joining in on the show right now. Moshe, hi, great to have you today on ET Now. And I was just going through your notes. You're saying that the earnings setup is poised for better than feared. A lot of fear already out there with regards to what IT is going to actually post this time around in a seasonally weak quarter. But what is it that you're anticipating could be better?
Well, we had Accenture report spectacular record bookings. We had Accenture basically taking guidance a bit lower, but not significantly. They went from 8 to 11% constant currency growth to 8 to 10%. And this is a very large company in terms of revenue base. And this is also a company that has exposure to both digital and more legacy work. So if you kind of take extrapolate the data from there, and then you kind of circle back and look at some other companies that are also kind of tracking the space. ISG is talking about record pipelines. Look, I think the biggest issue here continues to be the macro. And unfortunately, if you own the space, like any other things, I guess, you have to make some sort of a macro call. Obviously, we are going through some sort of a moderation in global economic growth. There's political instability. And the question here is, does it get worse? Does it get better? You get into a soft landing scenario. Do you not? Does BFSI become a hurdle down the road? It hasn't yet, but some people are saying that it may. And that's why I think it's, on one hand, the pipeline looks great. On the other hand, sales cycles remain long. Visibility is kind of limited. But again, I was here in the 07-08 timeframe. And this is where we've seen pricing pressure. We've seen project cancellations. None of this is happening at this point. So that's why the way I see it, we know that the numbers are going to be seasonally weak. That's out there, right? We know that the guidance is going to be relatively conservative, but here the street is looking for about 8 to 10% growth. If they kind of come within that range, I don't know, I think we'll be in decent shape. If they come out and guide for 3% growth, I think we are in trouble. But it just feels at this point, given what we've seen from Accenture, what we heard from ISG, it seems that the guidance will be conservative, but not terrible. And that's why I said the setup is more for what we call better than feared numbers than anything else.
Moshe, just wanted to understand from you as to what exactly you would be looking at when it comes to TCS in particular, because this time around the ET Now poll estimates that the revenues could be higher by about 1.8%. This is on a sequential basis, and we're expecting the company to really lead the revenue growth in Tier 1 IT, while the large deal win momentum is likely to remain intact. Are there any other critical factors that you'd be watching out for?
Well, I think the most important thing is any sort of commentary on pipeline conversion. Pipeline conversion, sales cycles, pricing, that whole combination has its own dynamic if you think about that. These are very, very important data points that will tell us how the quarter is proceeding. In our preview, we kind of thought that, the year is going to be even more back and loaded for the space. So we thought that maybe things will start picking up in June during the June quarter, and maybe they're not. So this is, any commentary related to deal conversion, pipeline conversion, these are going to be really important for us to kind of formulate some sort of an opinion about how the June quarter is tracking. Because historically, June is one of the stronger quarters for the year for the space, and then obviously September. So you lose June, you'll get a ramp in September, and then you'll go back to that seasonality in December. So all in all, it's not going to be, this seems to be more of a transitional year than anything else for the space.
Thanks so much, Moshe, for taking time out and joining in with your take on the entire IT space, as well as on TCS in specific.